when we were growing up, dude, we were not allowed to have feelings.
I can sense that.
Let me tell you. Okay, you ready for this?
Yeah.
Okay, I grew up in a generation where when something happened to you, you fell down, you got busted in the face, you fell off your skateboard, whatever happened, your dad was like, "You'll be all right." That was it. You'll be all right, and "you'll be all right" was code for "don't be a pussy."
Yeah,
and you knew it didn't look good if your dad was like, "We should get you to the doctor," because outside of that, it was a complete "you'll be all right." I grew up in a "you'll be all right." Nobody
rub some dirt in it kind of generation.
Dude, it was just like, "You'll be all right. What are you fucking crying for? You'll be all right.
Yeah,
you're gonna be all right."
Yeah,
and so that was the right. We were not allowed to have feelings.
Yeah,
you guys, it was encouraged.
Yeah, where the sensitive is in. Being or feeling the feelings is kind of trending right now.
Yeah, listen, I actually think it's okay to have feelings, and I think I think we need to I think we need to marry the two. We don't need to be in the "you be all right" generation.
Correct.
But we also don't need to be "this is how I feel all the time."
Yeah.
Nobody gives a fuck.
I will also say we can't be in the "you'll be all right" generation because my generation is not strong enough for that. Nor is the generation under me strong enough for that.
No.
I don't mean that as a dig on anybody. I just mean that as straight facts.
Yeah, like, it's probably true.
That's just two different generations of people. You know what I'm saying? So, no. My generation and the generation under. For sure, the generation under couldn't handle it.
If I could tell you how many times in my life growing up I heard, "You'll be all right. You'll be all right. Stop crying. You're going to be all right." Yeah, it was just like you got to the point where you're like, "Yeah, dude, I guess even if I'm not all right, I'm going to be all right."
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. You used to tell me that too, because it wasn't like right away, "You'll be all right." It was, "Hey, you okay? Like, you good?" And I'll say, "Yeah, this hurts and whatnot." And you would go, "Okay." And then you would let me feel it for a second. You'd go, "You'll be all right." Like I was still involved, but it was still more like,
I tried to marry the two.
And I think you did a great job at it.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah, because it taught me, honestly, like, obviously, if something happens traumatic, take the day, take it 2 days, be sad, feel all the feelings. But after 2 days max, you got to get back up.
That's where I'm at.
We got to get back up, and we got to get back into the world, and we got to keep pushing forward and take the punch and move on, you know?
That is 100% where I'm at in marrying the two. You need a day, maybe two, to get your shit together and to feel your feels, but
after two,
nobody gives a fuck.
Yep, time to get up.
And I am a firm believer. Look, and I say this, where I am now, it's easy for me to say this.
Right.
And I don't mean where I am career-wise or where I am now mentally.
Yeah.
It's easy for me to see this. But I truly believe, outside of some really drastic cases, it's up to you. It's up to you how you want to feel. Nobody can, when I hear somebody said, "He made me mad," nah. Nobody makes you anything. That's your choice.
Yeah, your reaction to whatever
they
did. Yeah.
He made me sad. She made me sad. No. You. That's your decision. Right? And if you're sad, how long you want to be sad? How long you want that thing that happened 3 days ago? Because you know what, in my brain, I saw this fucking, I forget what podcast I was listening to, where I heard somebody said, there was a pub in Ireland that had a sign that said, "Free beer tomorrow." But the sign was always up because it was always tomorrow. And when you came in, it was today. But the free beer is tomorrow. But when you came in, no, the free beer is tomorrow.
Wait, hold on.
They never took the sign down. Because it never was tomorrow, dude. It's always today.
Whoa.
And
well, that just blew my fucking head up.
Can I tell you something?
That's crazy.
When I heard that, and I know it was such a crazy, weird anecdote or whatever, I was like, I am through worrying about tomorrow. Because it's never tomorrow. It's always today. And yesterday might as well
have not existed.
Yeah, but it's that,
Yeah.
So why am I going to let something 3 days ago that in all like whatever never happened?
Yeah.
It happened, but it's in the foof today.
Yeah.
So am I going to let the foof ruin my today? And that mind shift, it took a lot of mushrooms. That mind shift changed. Remember what I tell you on the ride over here today?
You said your energy, and not just like,
not physical,
but like mental, and like your life energy is at a 10.
Fucking at a straight up 10. Dude.
We love that.
At a straight up 10.
That's dope.
I was in LA last night. I wanted to tell you this. Went to the Comedy Store. By the way, I did Jeremiah Watkins, his stand up on the spot.
Oh, where you went up and stand there with him and you guys just kind of
Riff.
Yeah.
We riffed. The
I love
audience
that.
screams things out of us, and I did a spot. But man, I was at the fucking Comedy Store, and I saw Sebastian went up before me.
What's his?
Maniscalco.
Yeah.
And I saw it last night at the store. Sebastian, Nate Bargatze,
Great.
and Ari Shafir.
Okay.
Not to mention like Steph Tolev, who we did her
Love
podcast.
her.
Yo, dude, she makes me laugh so hard.
She's so funny.
I watched Kevin Nealon do stand up on the spot. Genius. But last night, when I go down to the Comedy Store and these other places, it makes me so grateful. And I know how lucky I am to be in this community of comics.
Mhm.
Nate, Ari, and Sebastian couldn't be more different.
Yeah. If it was just Sebastian and Nate, like,
Dude, Sebastian and Ari, like they're
Yeah.
all like, but I was watching Sebastian because he went up before me. And he's a fucking master craftsman. And so is Nate. And by the way, and so is Ari. And I was just like, how fucking lucky am I to be in this community? How fucking dope is that?
yeah.
How am I going to and I listed off a couple things in my head. Am I going to let these things bother me? This is my job. These are the people I get to hang out with.
Mhm.
How fucking lucky am I? And you know what? Like, I will tell you something. 5 years ago, if I had watched Sebastian, I would have gotten in my head about a couple things. First of all, I'd have been like, I can't follow this guy. What am I doing? I can't fucking go up. I would have been, you know me, dude. I'd have been fucking.
Yeah.
And it would have also eventually become a comparison thing. Like, how come he gets to,
Yeah.
come he, right? All I could think of when I watched him was, how lucky am I to be here?
It's a crazy mind shift. It's crazy. Your mind has got, well, I think it's also because, I mean, look, you've always liked yourself. Like everybody always obviously you like yourself, but this last year or so is when you've even said it. You've truly come to really like who you are as a person and come to terms with like, this is who I am. And I love that for myself. It's such a crazy turn going from self-hatred and self-sabotage of, am I good enough? Am I going to be able to compete with this? Should I still be doing this? To a complete 180-degree turn of, this is a super dope job. I'm super blessed. And guess what? I'm here because I'm good at what the fuck I do.
Yeah.
Like the fact, obviously, like you've been doing, not struggling, but going back and forth with your brain for a couple of years, probably since COVID. I would really say that's because we lived together again. So I started to be able to observe you. That sounds weird.
Well, I will say pre-COVID, and when you say you've always liked yourself, not true. Pre-COVID, I didn't know this until I had some time to sit with myself. And I didn't know this until I got to Nashville and could really get into it. I did not like myself.
There was no parts about yourself that you liked?
The loud voice in my head that called myself a piece of shit
took over.
It was loud. It was loud. You're the, why aren't you better? These people don't respect you. How come all these people are more successful than you? Your material is blah.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy. Anything I could think of, you can't push anything over the fucking finish line. Dude, the bad self-talk was beating me down.
Mm-hmm.
It really was.
Yeah. And in those situations, because even pre-COVID, like your accolades and if you look at like your credits, even pre-COVID were outstanding. They were so good, but it's really hard sometimes. And I understand it because that voice is loud, has been loud for me for the last year. It's getting better at the start of this year, but it's still a pretty apparent and loud voice.
Yeah.
But it's hard to see what you have and what you've done because of that voice. And it's almost prohibiting you from seeing all the things you've already accomplished instead of, or like what you could accomplish potentially in the future. And it's making you focus just on the bad things in that moment and that part of time. And it's hard to push through. It's hard to get through for sure.
It is. It's helped me to journal and write things down. So I would start journaling. Not so much of a diary. I would say journal.
Yeah.
It was more like and then about 5 months ago, I was like, yo, because I had like and instead I wrote down in the journal, I was like, just write down what you have. And the first word I wrote down was family. And the second word was health. And then love. And then I wrote like 5 other words of things that I have. I have freedom. I have choice.
Yep.
I have some money.
Yep. And those weren't even material things.
No, and the money was the last thing I thought of. Right?
Right.
I wrote career. And I just went through each one of them after I wrote them all down. There was like 9 of them.
Mm-hmm.
And these are the things that I value in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I would think of the first word, family. Well, fuck yeah, dude. I got a great family.
Mm-hmm.
Check. Health. I've had battles, but yo, dude.
Right now?
For my aunt, 53, I'm in some of the best shape of my life. My brain is sharp. Fucking check.
Mm-hmm.
Love in abundance. Fucking check. And I went down all these things. Career, check.
Mm-hmm.
Peace, freedom, choice, check. And I looked at this page and I was like, oh, I live in abundance. This is the checklist that most people would want to have in their life. And the first 3, family, health, love, check, fucking check.
Mm-hmm.
And it's shifted everything. We're like, I will no longer think about what I don't have.
Yeah.
It's doing me no good. There are a lot of things I don't have. Yo, fucking Dave Grohl is Dave Grohl. But he could write down shit he doesn't have.
100%.
Right? And people would be like, you're fucking Dave Grohl, dude.
So?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
The dude from Linkin Park.
Chester.
From the outside looking in. Fucking check. But you never know what's going on in somebody's head, right?
Yep.
But I for real, dude, wrote those things down. I wrote everything down that I thought were as important to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I fucking checked them all off.
Yeah.
And I do that every day.
That's good.
Every day I write down everything that's important to me that day. And I'll tell you the top 3 is always family, health, love. Sometimes health and love switch spots, but family is always right up top. And I always give that a fucking bink because, you know, dude, this is what I have.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's really been
and it's really important to focus on what you have and what you don't, for sure. I did that a little bit the other day. For those of you who saw my post about my buddy Jackson and those who reached out or left a good comment or left some love, I appreciate you guys more than you know. It was just one of those days, you know, where I just crowded my dreams, woke up thinking about him. But, you know, I also want to say on that mental health aspect of somebody might look like they're super happy on the outside, but you never know what's going on inside. And on that note, again, I will also say, yo, after I posted that about Jack, I called all the boys. I called Evan, I called Riley, I called McKay, I called Bobby. I called anybody I could think of just to do a mental health check because it's really important for everybody to check on their people. And I just want to give that shout. Again, thank you guys so much for the love. And I know Jack as well felt it. He was with me. He's still with me, but he was with me all day that day. So I appreciate you guys. And on that note, go check on your people. Make sure they know what's going on. Make sure they know that you're there for them. It's important. Love you.
Let me ask you a question, dude.
Okay.
Do you find yourself checking on other people more than you check on yourself?
I find myself when I check on other people is when I check in on myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I find myself, but also when I check in on people, of course, like they're checking in on me. I think subconsciously I'm calling people, of course, to check in on them, but also because maybe I have something I want to talk about or like I want to get checked on. But the last couple of times, it wasn't even that. It was just more like, just wanted to make sure everybody was good. Hadn't spoke to a couple people in a while. Just wanted to make sure the holidays were good and that everybody's in good health. And, you know, and that if you needed to talk about something, that let's chat. That was all it was. It was just, you know, a wellness check for all the homies, you know?
Yeah.
And I think it's important for everybody to do wellness checks. So check in on your boys, your girls, your people, everybody. Just check it. It's important.
Yeah, I agree, dude. I agree. And by the way, man, I think that you are a really good friend. You're a really good friend. And you are there for your people in a very ride or die way, in a way that I do not see a lot from your generation. I shouldn't say that. I don't know enough people in your generation.
Yeah, I mean, for me, look, it was like throughout my life, I've had people enter, I've had people leave,
Yes.
I've had best friends come in, and then 2 years later, it's like I'm invisible. So for me, it's like when I find people that I can trust and that I feel comfortable around, and that people that I like the vibe and I think they could run with the energy and the mentality that I have, I do my best to make sure that those people are okay. I do my best to make sure that everybody in my life is set and is good mentally, because you know, just like we were talking about, tomorrow we don't got to worry about tomorrow.
Who knows?
Tomorrow's never promised. We don't know what the fuck's gonna happen tomorrow.
Dude,
All I know is what's going on right now in this moment, and it's important for me to know that in this moment, my people are good, and that for me is like, look, when you gain my trust and we have that love and that connection, I'm there at the drop of a fucking hat.
100%.
Always have been, always will be. But then the minute I feel like I'm disrespected or that trust and that love has been broken, I draw a hard ass line.
Well, you draw a hard line because you've had a lot of loss in relationships, whether it's friends or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you've had a lot of what would be considered betrayal.
Yeah.
Can I tell you something that was one of the most heartbreaking? Because I know how much you love, and I know how much you love your friends, and you're dude. You know what? You're a sensitive kid.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you're a sensitive guy. I love that about you, dude. I love that about you.
I'm not afraid of my emotions.
No, you are not. You did early grade school. It was probably fourth grade. What is it? What year was that? When those dudes started just not hanging out with you? Fourth grade?
Third
grade?
I think it was around fourth and fifth. Yeah, somewhere around there.
This was so heartbreaking. Because up until that point, and even after, dude, your positivity and your excitement about life. Your mom and I used to talk about that all the time. Like, I wish I was as excited about life as Jacob Wolf. And your just straight up positive energy was so amazing. And you loved your friends, man.
Still do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And you came home one day, dude. And there was a couple of, we're not going to mention them by name, but a couple dudes that felt real kind of dirty how it went down, even in fourth grade.
I don't even remember how it went down. All I remember is that one day we were friends and one day we weren't.
That's how it went down.
Yeah. I don't even know.
No, nobody ever told you.
No one said anything.
No, there was just, they were all in a big group and friends. And then one day those 6 kids just stopped. It was that.
They all stayed friends.
Yes. And they must have had some sort of conversation
about something.
But you came home and there was a little ding out of that light. Out of that. And you said to me, because we were walking home, we used to walk.
Yeah, walk up the hill. Yeah.
And you were like, hey, we were walking to house school, and you were like, it was fine. And you said, how come they don't like me anymore? That was so hard, dude. That was like, because I didn't have any idea what to say. And you were like, did I do something wrong? Or how come they're not my friends? It was like, and I didn't know what to say to you because I didn't have anything to say and I didn't have an answer. And I know you hadn't changed, but I'll tell you something, dude. It's hard seeing a spark leave your kid. There was part of you that never came back that day.
Yeah, but I think
it was rough. And I had no answer.
Yeah.
And I couldn't say it was going to be they're going to like you, or I couldn't, you're not going to.
It's a fucking fourth grader.
Yeah.
There's no way to tell what a fourth grader's thinking.
There's no way. I can't say, hey, you're going to find friends later. You're not going to.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to say. At
that young, it's hard to find the right words that, one, I'll understand, but two, also that will give me hope.
There's no explaining it. Dude.
Yeah.
These were your boys. You were running with everybody. And then one day you were just alone at recess.
Yep. I will say though, that part that left me, I think eventually that part came back, but in a different form. I think that part came back to me as I'm still that guy. I'm positive. I
Yes.
love my people and I love my friends, and it's do or die. Like it's if I'm like, yo, I gotta travel somewhere. I need this person. I'll pay for your shit, but like I need you to come with me. I got people who will go 10 toes down, no
Yep.
matter where across the globe if I need it. I think for me, that part of me came back to me as still positive, still have that light, still have that energy because it's important, but also to be cautious about who you give that emotion to,
Yeah.
because some people will take it for granted or some people will just throw it away. So it taught me, I think, a little more to be cautious with my emotions and cautious of, because, you know, I get attached to things pretty easily.
Yeah.
People, games, drinks, food, whatever. And I think, what?
Yeah. I mean, you went from people to food.
And weed.
Yeah.
But so, you know, I think it just came back. That part of me came back, but with a life lesson. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think, I'm not saying it was good that it happened, but I think it was important because it helped me with who I talked to and made friends with along the way.
Well, there's no doubt that yeah.
And also that if I felt something from somebody I would rather save my heart and my emotions and pull myself out of that situation before I get my heart broken again. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I think it came back with a valuable lesson. And I think it's important. I'm not saying it's important to lose friends or learn heartbreak, but hard life lessons.
Impossible to go through life with no heartbreak.
True.
You know.
It's I think it's important. I don't wish it upon anybody. Heartbreak is,
Well, dude,
can't describe it, but love everybody checking on your people. Sorry.
that was awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for that conversation. I want to say,
Hey man.
Hey man.